Let's talk about some of the comments that you guys have left for me. So one of my recent videos got a number of comments on it that got me thinking about things, and I want to go ahead and talk about those. The video I'm going to be addressing here is the Heritage Roughrider, and the fact that I thought that the manual safety on it was just mind-bogglingly, insanely stupid. My logic for that being that you already have to pull back the hammer to fire it. It already takes a deliberate action to fire it. You don't need a second deliberate action there to be a safety. The hammer is, in fact, the safety. Now, a couple of them were pretty polite, disagreeing with me, but making some good points. And then there was another one that was, just kind of a jerk. Now, concerning this one that was a jerk, I got the notification in my email that there was a comment there. There's a couple of filters that it can get caught in. One that's kind of a profanity filter, and the other one is pretty much just a straight up spam filter. I don't know what happened with it not showing up there. Maybe he posted it and then deleted it because he realized he was kind of a jerk. I don't know. Maybe it just got sucked up into the YouTube black hole. I've got the text of it here. Since there's a chance that he posted this and then deleted it, I'm going to go ahead and leave the name off of it there. You're the idiot who doesn't know anything about guns. If you knew how a single action works, you would know that the hammer rests on the firing pin. So to keep from an accidental discharge, a 6-shot cylinder needs to have one hole empty. That one under the hammer when not cocked. The manual safety keeps that hammer from touching the firing pin at any time. You can actually see it work when you move the hammer. Idiots like you who don't know what they're talking about are the ones causing people to have firearms accidents. Thanks for showing your stupidity on social media, though. Your ignorance is amazing. Well, I can go over a number of different things concerning this one, and concerning ignorance here, I'm pretty sure that I talked about the fact that the hammer sits directly on the firing pin on the original single action armies, or you might have it sitting one notch back just to keep it off of the firing pin. Some of the old ones, the hammer sat right on the firing pin and a good bump could set it off. So a lot of them have a safety notch in there to keep it off of that. This one has a block in there to stop that. So I addressed in the video that that was an issue with the old ones, and also said that there is a means to get around that, which I will be elaborating on in a bit because of some of these other more polite videos. Also, you started off the video saying you're an idiot, typed it like this, and my only response to that is to say this. I kind of hope this comment shows back out because I kind of want people to see it. Now, the two more polite comments came from some other people. This one from Bolo Battalion. Not sure you understand what the Roughrider is for. I actually found that little safety useful when teaching my kids firearm safety. The redundancy is welcome. And from Boomstick 779, because without that safety, you're supposed to keep the hammer on an empty cylinder even with the half cock. If you didn't and you dropped the revolver on the hammer, it could discharge. I'd much rather have a transfer bar safety like the Ruger Single 6 has, but a lot of these Heritage Roughriders probably get shot by children, and you know they're not going to leave the hammer on an empty cylinder. Others are newbies. I had one guy that didn't know that 22 was a rimfire ammo. He thought that his firing pin was messed up because it didn't strike the center of the cartridge. Another didn't know you can drift sights. For inexperienced shooters, the more safe a gun is, the better, especially if it is your child. Okay, so the two things in here that are mentioned, the one being the hammer sitting on the firing pin. Yeah, that is an issue there, and that's why they would often do that cowboy reload where they're only loading the 5 in there. That wasn't just a problem with that gun. You'd see it with other things, such as the trapdoor Springfield, where one of the first modifications they made to it was a safety notch that kept the hammer back just a little bit off of the firing pin. Now, what Boomstick talked about that he liked better was the transfer bar safety. I talked about that just briefly in that Heritage Roughrider video, but going back to my video on the Heritage / Pieta single action army clone video, I actually showed the transfer bar safety in there and how that works. This guy right in here. So basically the hammer hits the transfer bar and the transfer bar hits the firing pin. The transfer bar only goes into place when the trigger is pulled. You can watch here and see the transfer bar rise and lower as we pull the trigger there. And I find that to be a much more elegant solution there, because that's an internal thing that you don't see and doesn't really ruin the look of it there. So I think I would just rather have that. As someone that's looking at these from the perspective of wanting reproductions of historical firearms, that may be where I'm getting a little bit different opinion of some of y'all. I was looking at it from that perspective, because there's some other people that are looking at it in the context of teaching children and teaching new gun owners how to use guns. Now, a single action .22 revolver would be a really popular choice to be kind of a first handgun to teach a child with for a number of reasons. Being .22, it's not going to have a lot of kick, so they can handle it. It's also single action, so they can't just sit there and go bang, 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 bang right away. They have to cock the hammer to be able to shoot it. So that's why they're real popular for that, and that's a very good decision if you've got a new shooter. And they're commenting that they kind of like having that safety on there to get them in the mindset of using a safety. And it's to the point of like what the Roughrider is made for, that Bolo Battalion brought up. Because if you look at the price point on the Heritage Roughrider, you'll see that it is, you know, they kind of float around $100 or a little bit more. So these are very, very inexpensive weapons, and they're probably not meant to be nice collector's things like you would have the Pietas. And so maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I'm kind of looking at it as this collector wanting a reproduction of an old firearm, and from that case, sticking a manual safety on it just like completely ruins it to the point that I don't even want to buy one. But if you're buying it to teach your kid, that safety probably has a good use to it there, even though it is quite redundant, especially when a transfer safety bar would be able to be implemented in it. And so that's my thoughts on all that there. If you leave nice comments for me there and there's something interesting in it, I might actually reply to it like this. So yeah, definitely keep comments coming in there. As far as some other really short channel updates, I've got a few firearms that we're going to be getting some reviews of and some shooting footage of. One of them I managed to lose a part taking it apart. I've had to order a new one, and we're running on like COVID shipping schedule right now, so don't know how long that is going to be. I've got another one that we'll be able to do once we get it out to the range, and so that may be some time till that happens. I've got a couple of others that were going to be lent to me that I was going to be able to borrow, and just COVID shutdown kind of stopped that all from happening. So maybe I can still get those and get them out and get some videos on them and get that going. So keep hanging out on the channel to see that coming up. If you found this video useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. You can go down into the comment section and leave any thoughts you have down there. And if you're interested, you can also subscribe to my channel and click the little bell notification to make sure that you catch all the videos that I post so you don't miss anything. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you next time.